Also, I started on a completely unrelated note. I started watching Thundercats.
Which one?
The I don't know, the second one, the serious one from, is it 2011? Yeah. That was yeah on Cartoon Network.
Okay, and what's your impression?
It's really good. Like, it's a a reboot.
Yeah.
So, do you guys remember back in, like, I think it was 2001, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe got a Cartoon Network reboot?
Think so. I don't think I ever actually saw it, but I think I was aware of it. Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the problems, is that nobody saw it. But it was really, so I was a He-Man kid growing up, right? Like, straight up, He-Man was my thing. I had a bunch of the He-Man toys. I had Castle Grayskull. I had Snake Mountain. Like, I was all about some He-Man. And I watched the cartoon, all the time. And then, I'm in college, and the He-Man reboot happens, and I went, and it was what He-Man looked like in my memory, from being a kid.
Mm-hmm. But actually, it looked that way to everybody else too.
Yeah. And it had actual storylines, and instead of just, everything resets to status quo at the next episode, like the original He-Man did, because that was in syndication, and it wasn't meant to be watched in order. It was meant to just, hey, watch He-Man and buy our toys.
Mm-hmm.
But the reboot was really good. And I didn't even know there was a Thundercat reboot until, I don't know, probably late last year. I think I listened to a School of Movies episode about it. And I went, I didn't even know that was a thing. And when I spotted it on Hulu a few weeks ago, I went, and I hit play and watched the first couple episodes, and it was really good. So,
well, that's
like,
how Voltron was.
The one on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been on my list forever. And now that it's actually, like, over, I think I'm gonna watch it next, probably. Because
the original one, I used to have the first couple of episodes that sort of started the whole series.
Yeah, it was the movie, essentially. Like, the first, I think, 5 episodes could be... And, like, I had it on VHS. It was Voltron the movie. It was the first 5 episodes of the cartoon, shown without commercials,
And it's one that you look at it and you go, okay, I like the premise of it. It's just that it's 80s, and like you said, if none of the episodes are ones that push the narrative in a direction, it's just, yeah, here's these guys, here's some shenanigans happen, the reason why they can't do it, and now that they can do it, they're still trying to learn it, and so blah blah blah.
Whereas, and then they kill a Robeast.
Yeah, the Netflix one, I think they took the premise and actually gave it a story, and I think that they personally did it, and they did a very good job of going into the depths of the character development, because I don't think they really did a lot of character development in the 80s one. My only complaint about the reboot is it does not have the awesome Voltron theme song.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah. I mean, if you were looking for a song that's like, okay, I'm really down, you play this song and you're like, all right, I'm good. I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. That theme song was the bomb diggity. I still love listening to that theme.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Does Peter Cullen do a voiceover at any point in the Netflix show?
Which part did he do?
He was the narrator for the intro.
No.
Oh, the voice of Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I had forgotten about that. Like, the original Voltron was on, I think it was on Netflix a couple years ago, and I watched like the first 5 episodes. And when I first hit play and I hear Optimus Prime start talking, I went, I forgot about that.
No, I think that was the one thing is that they knew everything and they could not get the rights to the song,
I mean, that
which is the
doesn't
reason
surprise me.
why they couldn't. They had to come up with a completely different one. And not to say it's not good. I mean, it's pretty good, but the original one is nostalgic, and it's just a good, solid song. It's not a song that has aged badly at all.
Da, 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 da. I mean, I could pull it out of the air just out of, without having to think about it. So yeah.
I have not thought of that song in forever, and now I can hear it going through my head like 30 years ago.
And then there's that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
it's so good.
Guitar part. Or is it like a guitar distortion or something, the way they did it?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I wonder if I could add that to my shower music playlist. I'll be jamming in the shower when Voltron comes on. Hell yeah. Maybe get the Mask theme song going too. Hell yeah. So anyway, back to Thundercats. It's so okay. I watched Thundercats every once in a while, the original show when I was a kid,
Right?
but only every once in a while. Like it was never a thing that I watched like on purpose, because I kind of hated Snarf. I kind of wanted to stab Snarf in the face.
Yes.
Snarf, snarf.
Yeah, Snarf doesn't do any of that. I don't think Snarf talks in the new one, so that's good.
That's always an improvement.
I can't say the new one in the 2011 reboot because there's another one. I don't know if it's out yet or what, but it had a drastically different art style. It looks sort of like Teen Titans Go or Steven Universe, that sort of thing. Which, whatever. Art style is art style. Dirk, did you watch She-Ra? I forget if I asked you that before.
I have not seen it, but Chelsea watched a couple episodes of it, and it's again one that it really does feel like they did a good job of putting together a story where it's going somewhere.
And it was I felt all the feels by the time that wrapped up. Like multiple episodes of She-Ra had me, when the credits started to roll, I was in tears. Like, it's really good.
But no, I've not actually sat down and watched it just yet.
Oh, I recommend it highly.
Okay.
Like, watch that before you watch Thundercats. Like, it's really good. Thundercats was on Cartoon Network, so it's still, it's got a story that's going somewhere, but it's still, episodic nonsense. But that's the newest thing that I started up and have been enjoying. I also started rewatching Stranger Things for no reason. As a matter of fact, I think it was last night. I was like, you know what? Stranger Things. I'm going to sit here and play Hearthstone and watch Stranger Things. And I watched the first 2 episodes of Stranger Things while I played Hearthstone. And damn, that first season was good. Just so good. And the second season was really good. And then the third season was pretty good. And I hope that the 4th season, whenever it comes out, doesn't suck. That's all I hope at this point.
Dare to dream.
Yeah, I'm guessing none of you actually watched Stranger Things, did you?
I did.
Really?
Yes.
But you don't do scary things.
I do. Dude, I don't do them often. But do you remember when I started watching Supernatural? I had you guys over to my house. I showed you the pilot.
That's not scary.
Well, and Dirk, after the first episode, was like, "Why did you show me this? I don't like horror." Because the first couple episodes definitely trended more toward that. And I had to apologize because I didn't think it quite went that far, and he didn't like it that much. Am I remembering this correctly, Dirk?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
My problem is I used to like horror movies and horror everything, and the freshman year of college, we used to do a lot of horror movies and games and all that. And then I think at some point in college, I watched The Ring and I watched The Grudge and was like, you know what?
I'm
I'm
out.
yeah, I'm kind of out. And then I could still play some of the games. Like I bought the Resident Evil series and everything um, on Steam, and I will probably play them at some point. But I'm old enough where it's a I don't want to uh, I don't want to watch scary movies by myself. I'm past that point where I enjoy watching them on my own. I will watch them with a group of people for the social and all that. But I think right around the time of The Grudge and The Ring, I thought that this is just not something I particularly want for myself. I'm old enough now that I can decide, you know what? I really don't want to watch this. I'm out. Thank you for inviting me. But I'm tapping out.
Only watch things that you actually, enjoy.
Hmm.
Sounds like a solid policy to me. But yeah, I did watch Stranger Things, um, and I'm looking forward. Do we have a release date for the next season yet?
Ooh, I don't know. Let's go look. Yes, season 34. Yeah, that's what I meant.
In 2050, things will continue to get stranger
It was announced
again.
in 2019. I don't see a date on anything at the moment, but oh, here we go. There is currently no release date. Probably. Oh well, this from October says, given the 20-month gap between season 2 and 3, we may not be returning to Hawkins until 2021. Well, considering that was said in October of this year, yeah, you think?
I mean, really, it's December, so good chance of that.
Hmm.
So I did enjoy Stranger Things. Just while we're on TV shows and things like that, uh, I don't bring it up a whole lot on the show, but I've mentioned it from time to time that I have been a fan of Supernatural. Supernatural came on in 2005 and has officially become the longest running, continuous running genre show. They wrapped up season 15, which they had announced would be the final season. And I think it's difficult for any show to maintain quality over that long. And I will be the first. Well, no, other people have said it. I will readily admit that not every season was as good as was on the same level. But I do feel like even in some of the later seasons, there were still quality episodes. There was an episode called. It was
Excuse me.
based off of Scooby Doo, and they actually did everything in the animation style of Scooby Doo, and it was fantastic. And the actors said that they would love to do they would do 15 more seasons if it was all just Scooby Doo episodes. Everybody had a great time with it. So I just wasn't sure. Season 15 started at the end of 2019, was going to finish up in the spring of 2020. They halted production on the last 6 or 7 episodes because of COVID, and then actually start filming those again in Canada with COVID restrictions going on. And it affected some of the staff that could be there because when they went there, they had to then quarantine for 14 days, et cetera, et cetera. And I was concerned. I was like, are they going to do this in a good way? And they had the second to last episode air, and it was good, and it kind of wrapped things up in a way that I was like, where are they going to go with this? And then they did the last episode, which it was kind of a 2-hour special where the first hour was like everybody reflecting and people that had done like guest characters, like Felicia Day was on there, and some of the other people that had done guest characters over the years were on there, and that was nice. But then they went into the final episode, and the final episode felt, not only did it feel, not only did it wrap things up in a way that I felt was very satisfactory for a 15-year-old show, but a lot of it actually felt like getting back toward what was going on in season 1 and season 2, and kind of that aesthetic of the show. Like it, because again, the show evolved and changed so much over the years that it, it wasn't in the same place and it wasn't with some of the same themes, but then it definitely had a vibe with some of that stuff. And I hate to do this. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Oh, puppies. Or puppy. Not plural.
Well, my big thing is I've been playing Shadowlands.
Of
and
course.
I've only been able to play about an hour each night. That's about how much time I have before it's late enough that I'm about ready to pass out and go to sleep and everything. So, but so there's 4 new, I guess, afterlife worlds that you can go to, and I'm up to the 4th one, the last one in the campaign. The campaign is darn near like super long, but it really has been sort of molding the story in terms of what people are doing and all that. So I've been enjoying that so far.
This is the new World of Warcraft expansion for anyone that missed that. So is this one of the good ones or one of the ones?
So far it's been pretty good.
Nice.
Legion was really like had a super strong story and everything. I mean, it had tons of stuff going for it. The problem with Battle for Azeroth is it's really hard to top a game that, or an expansion that did really well and really, pushed the envelope. I mean, you had all these super powerful weapons, and then you essentially start off BFA, and they no longer are good. Like, they're no longer as powerful as they were. And so I think there was a big letdown because of that. I don't know. It was just, there were little bitty things that just didn't feel like that you just wanted to continue to play the game. I leveled up a bunch of my characters to max level, and the only character I actually did anything with substantially was my Death Knight, my one Alliance human Death Knight, and that's the only one I did. And the only reason why I did that was because of the rep. You get the rep with the different factions, and that was pretty much the only thing I continued to play it for. Then a little bit of story here and there. So far, this one has done a much better job. Like I feel like that they took the good elements from Legion and BFA, and they kind of mixed them up and put them into this game. So you have a lot of the good stuff. That's about all I have as of right now. I have leveled my Death Knight up to max level, and you start to get to do more stuff when you're max level, but I'm not there yet in terms of the cool extra stuff you get to do, because again, I'm in the middle of the campaign, and I really haven't received a quest that says, hey, come back here so that you can start doing all this cool stuff. It's been, hey, let's go ahead and do all this cool stuff. You need to do the campaign. And I max leveled with still tons of quests still to do in all 3 realms, or all 4 realms. So like I said, I'm going to continue to do the the main campaign, but I'm not doing any of the side quests at this point because I'm running out of room on my my quest log, because you're only, I think, allowed a total of 20 quests. Well, I've maxed out on quests a couple of times where it was said you can't have any more quests. You don't have enough room. So I had to get rid of a couple quests so that way I could actually continue with the campaign. So, I mean, for me, it's still too early to say yes, that it's better. So I really don't know.
Fair enough.
So far, it doesn't feel bad. But we'll just have to wait and see as we go further and further.
Could be you get to the end and be like, what was that? Damn it.
Well, I don't think that's not going to happen for a while, because I think that the campaign for right now, when I finish it out, is going to be... and again, I have nothing to base this on, because once again, yes, there have been plenty of people who have gone and said, okay, now that you're here, here's what you do once you are done with the campaign and all this, so that way you can start moving up to the next tier of gear and everything. And I'm just curious about the story. I'm much more of a casual player and not a hardcore player. And like Brian talking about doing hard mode, I really enjoyed the story. And so the only reason why I went back and continued to play it, or have played it a bit past beating it, was because I was trying to unlock more achievements. And really, that's the only major reason why I kept playing. And also the fact I could only play it in the evenings, just like WoW, because of all the language in it and the violence, I didn't want my kids watching it.
Yeah.
WoW's violence is kind of like when you watch the old video games and you're like, okay, there's violence in the video game. Okay. In Final Fantasy, in the old ones, you don't get close to the characters. You step forward and then you swing your arm, and then the other guy loses numbers.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
the original Ninja Gaiden. You're a ninja with a sword, but you walk up and swing the sword and that thing goes pwah and disappears. Whereas in the Ninja Gaiden on like the Xbox, he's slicing things up and there's fountains of blood and this and that and the other. There's a difference.
So yeah, that's, like I said, when Trevor has watched me play World of Warcraft, and he keeps saying, so when am I going to play it? And I'm going, not anytime soon.
Yes.
Because number one, you got to have really good grades in order to do it. Number two, you got to be a bit older, because this is something that takes up time and everything. Number three, I have to get you an account, and I'm not willing to drop that much money on that. Number four, I have to have a computer that you can play this whole thing on. And the only computer that can play right now is my desktop, and that will be a very cold day before I let you play a game on my desktop. Like, I have a desktop upstairs in the closet, but that means I'd have to rearrange the office so that it would be down here, because he is not going to get that desktop in his room. If the kids are going to be in their rooms with a computer, it's their Chromebook, like their school computer, which again was bought on the cheap and bulk side of things, so it's not going to run tons of video games on it.
Yeah. It'll be a cold day.
Man, that's because the problem is that the computer is sort of my sanctuary. It's my thing. Whereas the PlayStation, the Xbox, the kids get to play on, occasionally get to play on them and everything. So it's sort of like they're in open areas where there's no privacy, and you can see exactly what's going on. You can watch and everything of that sort. Whereas the computer, the only chair in here is my office chair and the blue bowl chair. And the blue bowl chair is so so low and everything. You don't really it's not conducive to watching a small screen as opposed to a big screen TV and everything. So it's really not easy to watch and follow along what you're doing because you're so far away. And so this is sort of my sanctuary area where I get to play my games and no one else gets to play on my computer and everything else. So I'm hesitant to allow others access to my computer, especially my children.
Understandable.
So we'll have to see what happens in the next maybe like 3 or 4 years if I get comfortable enough where I am willing to, you know, actually take the other computer I have and actually have stuff done to it to make it a somewhat functional gaming computer. That's
I wouldn't let my kids play on my computer either.
the problem is that there's the PlayStation and all that. They really have just two functions. You either play games or you watch TV on them, and that's about as far as they go. Even though, yeah, you can surf the internet, you can do all kinds of stuff on it, but that's not what they know it can be used for. They just think I can either play games or watch movies on this thing, and I a computer has so much more that it can do for it in addition to being able to play video games. So
yeah, like edit, render, and upload YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Which is what mine is primarily used for. Or streaming.
Trevor has mentioned that he wanted to be a YouTube streamer, and I laughed a little bit, and I'm going, no, you would actually have to dedicate time to doing it, and you'd have to edit and upload videos and do all this stuff. And he's going, why can't I just play the game and upload the videos and everything? And I'm going, no, you can't. You're going to have videos loaded of you watching a movie, or you watching a loading screen. People are not going to want to watch that and everything.
Yeah. Just for that, I'm going to upload a video of myself watching a loading screen just to prove you wrong. Show it to Trevor. Be like, look, don't listen to your dad. Okay, no, don't. Always listen to your... okay, you know what? I'll just not talk to Trevor.
So, I mean, that's essentially been the thing with him, is that he's watched... he watches the YouTube videos on Pokemon Sword and Shield and stuff then, and so he thinks it's easy. And for some of those people, yeah, it is easy. But at the same time, most people actually know that you have to be able to do this and this to it. You need to add sound, you got to add audio, because if you're doing a recording of you, that's not always lining up with what's the video is and the sound, and I mean, there's extra stuff that's going to be involved in editing more than he thinks. He thinks it's just you just do this and you upload it and you're all good. So doesn't understand the extra things that go into it that you don't see.
Yeah, well, wait, how old is he?
Almost 10.
Yeah.
He's 9.
So of course he doesn't see all that.
Yeah.
But then there are people that are, my age that don't see all that too, so.
They think that when they watch Crash Course or something like that, that they did that all in one take.
Oh, yeah.
No.
You just play a game and talk while you do it. That's easy. Oh, yeah? Okay.
I mean, yeah, you did do that, but you don't understand that the original file for this 30-minute episode that you're watching was actually probably about 3 hours, and you have to actually go and say, okay, what if this can be cut out. All right, I'm going to cut out these, and these things because they serve no purpose. Well, by the time you actually sit there and you get done doing that, all of a sudden you've dropped like 5 hours into this in order to edit it down to something reasonable. Just get the base cut of what you're doing.
Oh yeah, that Hades video that I put up. So the day that I did that, I got woken up an hour early because there was the carpet cleaning van was outside. And like, I guess the engine that they use to clean carpets and whatnot is out in the van. So it sounded like there were 4 leaf blowers outside my front door. And they woke me up like an hour early. And I came in here and sat down. I was like, I guess I got started on that Hades video. And I worked on that. Cutting out story bits so there were no spoilers and whatnot. And my first cut was an hour and 20 minutes long. And I went, whew. So I went back in and made another pass and cut out more stuff. And it was, I think, an hour and 6 minutes. And I went, wait, what? And I made another pass, and after I put the end screen on it, it's an hour and 57 seconds. So it's essentially an hour and a minute. And I hit render and went to dash. I usually start dashing around 4:30. Which means I worked on that video, just the edit, for, let's see, I did stop a couple times, like, for food, and I had to poop once. So, let's say from, like, 10 to 4 is what, 6 hours? So I probably worked on that video for 4.5 hours to try to get it down to an hour and a minute.
Hey, I'm going to be rude and interrupt. But
I mean, I was done.
well, I hate to be abrupt. I'm gonna go and head out. There was kind of an incident with one of the dogs having an accident, and then I was like, well, I was surprised Carrie hadn't texted me to let me know the dogs needed to go out, and she's like, I texted you twice, and I looked. I'm like, my phone's on silent. She texted half an hour ago.
Whoops.
At 9:46. So I felt terrible. So I'm gonna go and make sure everything's all squared away. She wasn't feeling well to begin with. So, final thought. Everybody be good. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. And then I'm also going to head out as well. I was kind of waiting patiently for Brian to get back before I was going to bounce too.
It is late o'clock at this point.
Yeah. So, final thought as well is be safe, wear a mask. We love you guys.
In that order.
In that order, absolutely. So with that, I'll bid you all a wonderful good night.
Night, Dirk. So I guess that's it for me too. So hey everybody, and yeah, sorry we didn't do a show, but with Mike being unable to join us, we didn't have a backup plan ready to go, so we decided to do another one of these. So yay! So I hope everyone has a fabulous evening. It's okay. Bye, everybody.